Stop dying so much to fire in Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 players have had a complicated history with fire. Fire good, on fire bad. The recent update and Warbond are definitely aimed at fighting Terminids with fire. And that's where we're going to put our energy today. So why use fire in Helldivers 2? Fire damage is great for controlling mobs by setting the ground ablaze and then pushing enemies back through a couple of different techniques. That gives them time to cook and hopefully perish. It's not great at staggering or stopping enemies in their tracks, so don't expect that to happen. It's also great for taking down heavy enemies because it bypasses armor ratings where it deals damage over time. Many primary weapons just ricochet off medium armor, doing no damage at all. Now keep in mind this still takes some skill with heavy enemies who have different health pools scattered around their bodies. Chargers will melt in a few seconds as long as you target just one leg in particular. This seriously took me way too long to understand. Fire can help against the new Impaler enemy also. This Terminid is like an oversized charger that sticks its face tentacles into the ground. The main body doesn't move while it's implanted, making it a perfect target for damage over time. If you start to burn the stock on the main body, the Impaler will get up and move around, making it less effective. But keep in mind, if it focuses on you, you're gonna get tentacle smacked, so stay out of range. Even better, start at ablaze with napalm first, and then get behind it with a flamethrower. Heavies aside, the biggest mistake new players make with fire is aiming at heads. In general, aiming for legs or lower body parts is way more effective. In addition, shoot the ground in front of mobs because the ground itself becomes another source of damage over time. Then use stun grenades or weapons that stagger like the SG-72 pummeler to push enemies continuously back into those flames. To keep yourself alive and less on fire, if you don't want to pay for the Freedom's Flame Warbond, that's totally fine, then medic-based armor is a great option because it can increase the amount of time stims are active, which means your stims can heal for longer than fire can damage you. Stims can also just put out fire directly, but combining it with diving is far more effective. Diving is the new stop, drop, and roll. The Freedom's Flame Warbond also gives you some new options, with Inflammable Armor Passives that have 75% resistance to burning. This opens up new escape routes across burning ground, like going through fire tornadoes, which you definitely couldn't do before. For better or worse, you can get more sloppy around fire now, and set yourself ablaze once or twice without needing to stim immediately. But don't get too comfortable because your teammates might not have the same resistances, and that's gonna make them real mad. There are now also more flamethrowers in Helldivers 2, including a shotgun, main weapon, and pistol. After some initial testing, the Cookout Shotgun is the standout of the bunch, combining high staggering force and damage over time. When it comes to the flamethrower primary and pistol, they both work like the stratagem, and that opens up your loadout to take something other than the flamethrower. I'd suggest picking just one flame weapon. Remember, the goal is just to get the ground burning and then push enemies back into that damage over time zone. You can roll with multiple flamethrowers just for fun, but it means you won't be able to deal with bugs up close without the risk of setting your teammates on fire. Another interesting tidbit is the Flam-66 Torcher says it's a medium armor penetrating weapon, which we'll have to test more because fire damage already ignores armor. A neat little tip you might not know about flamethrowers is there's a slight delay in combustion where it just squirts liquid. To avoid that delay, fire off a burst before you get into range of enemies. That gets the pilot light going. As long as you see flame at the end of your barrel, you can shoot instantly. Some ways to get better with fire are to get the ship upgrade Enhanced Combustion as soon as possible, which buffs fire damage 25% for flamethrowers, napalm strikes, and incendiary mines. Make sure you stun enemies before you drop a napalm strike on them, because the physical bombs do additional damage before exploding if they hit directly. That's why you can use them to also destroy things like illegal broadcast towers. And make sure you stay topped off. The supply pack and regular ammo pickups reload the flamethrower canisters. And this only works with some stratagems, which the flamethrower is one of them. Although it's up to you if you want to run jetpack instead for mobility, I prefer the supply pack. It is often overlooked. And that should get you well on your way using fire in the Escalation of Freedom update and Freedom's Flame Warbond. Carry on, Helldivers.